Hello guys, how you doing? Welcome Battle Brothers. Nice to see you all in the chat. Yeah, if you can hear me okay, please just say in the chat that you're hearing everything fine. Someone said that in the last stream the microphone was a bit messed up. I've had no end of problems with this microphone, so if you hear me okay, or if at any point the microphone goes staticky, please someone shout out in the chat. I mean, I guess I need to buy another one. Thanks for joining for the first time on a live stream. Gitlil, nice to see you. And hello to my regulars, Robin, Redblade, Adam, Elder, Highland. Nice to see you guys all here. So as always, we're going to go over live People's Army lists. I've had a little bit of time this week, so I have improved our checklist, so hopefully we'll be doing even better looking at people's lists. Alright, cool, I'm glad it sounds good. But my friend got the Forge World Codex on Friday, so he asked me if I wanted photos of the data sheets, so I said, yeah, send me some photos. So I have the photos for the Leviathan Dreadnought, which you see here in front of me, and then I also have the photo for the Contemptor Dreadnought. And also I got the points costs as well, so I thought it would be pretty cool to just quickly look at this real quick before we move on. So, the Leviathan Dreadnought, we all knew, I guess, it was going to lose its weapon skill of 2 and its ballistic skill of 2, which was annoying. When will there be ability to submit lists? Fish Guy, if you stick around, I'll tell everybody how to submit lists today. For sure. I'm kind of backlogged, like I've been getting a lot of submissions, so you know, like, you might not get picked for a week or two, but I will get to everybody. Okay, and Highland, if you want to submit a list as well, yeah, alright, so we'll definitely cover that today, and maybe, yeah. So we knew its strength and toughness was going down. We knew it was keeping its 2+ save, which is nice, I guess. And the interesting thing is now it is equipped by default with the Grav Flux Bombards. So these have been buffed. These were 18 inches, and they just did heavy D3 before, but now it's heavy 2D3, and they've been changed a bit as well. These used to do 5 damage against vehicles. They've now been changed, so if it's an enemy with a 3+ or better save, it has a damage characteristic of 3, and it's been made blast. So I think the Grav Flux Bombard has got a lot better. And I think because it's included in the base points of the Leviathan, I think it's totally worth doing. We knew the Storm Cannon was going to get nerfed, so it's heavy 8, strength 7, so it lost 1 AP and it lost 2 shots. That's fine, I guess. I think the Storm Cannon on certain factions was overpowered. Iron Hands definitely had that very strong. You can now replace the Heavy Flamers with a twin Volkite Cavalier. And I think this is really interesting. This changes it to be like that new pistol that Lieutenant has, right? Where it's like, you know, strength 5, no AP, but 2 damage a shot. And you would have 2 of these, so you'd get heavy 8 out of this. And 6s do mortal wounds. So I think for sure, those are going to be worth looking at. They're so worth looking at that here you go. Here's one that I've magnetized this week. So I'll be looking at getting those heavy flamers off the Leviathan. I think that these Volkite cannons are just going to be a much more interesting option. And then it used to be with the Leviathan that you used to lose attacks if you equipped shooting weapons. Well, now they've changed it, so if you have a claw, you actually gain an attack. So if you're running Blood Angels and you're running a Leviathan now, you will get 5 attacks if you equip with 1 claw. And so you could probably run the 2 claws now with these new twin Volkite cannons to give you some shooting, but I quite fancy running the Grav Flux Bombard. It's a pretty good solid weapon choice, right? Strength 8, you're going to get an average of 4 shots. So it's kind of like a multi-melta doing 2 or 3 damage. So it's kind of like an average. So it's kind of like a twin link multi-melta, really. Maybe a slightly bit weaker. You also get a bunch of strength 8 shots, and then you have the claw. And the Leviathan picked up Duty Eternal. So obviously all damage coming in is reduced by 1. It also picked up the Automantic Shielding, which is what the Contemptor Dreadnought has. So it's just a 5+ save. And then its explosion has been reduced. I believe it used to explode on a 5 or a 6. Now it only explodes on a 6. And then the last thing to say about the Leviathan is it gained the smokescreen keyword. So you can pay 1 CP to make it -1 to hit when the enemy declares it as a target in the shooting phase. So overall, it's pretty interesting, and I think I have the costs for it here. No, it's on the other sheet I have of costs. Oh, we'll come to the Contemptor just after, sorry. And then I'll catch up on the chat. Here you go, Leviathan Dreadnought. So you're just 220 points now for the Leviathan. Which seems very decent, right? So 14 wounds, toughness 7, 2+ save. Still has an invulnerable save. All damage greater than 1 is reduced by 1. Can be smoke screened. And, you know, the Storm Cannon, you can take Storm Cannons, but they're only 10 points now. I think Storm Cannons actually used to be 50 points. So the point cost on this thing for losing 1 toughness and 1 weapon skill, I mean, I really think that my next list I'm going to include the Leviathan again. I think at 220 points, it's pretty interesting. I mean, it doesn't have the core keyword, but I still think it's quite survivable, and I think it can do quite a lot of damage. Alright, let's catch up on chat. So, great, yeah, if you want to submit a list for the feedback, right, so I'll just cover this now then. Let me bring up YouTube 1 second. So what's going to happen is, to submit a list for feedback, you would come onto the YouTube channel and you hit over on this community page, right? And my plan was to post because this is my page, I can post like it's like a forum, I guess. So I'll post up like, hey, looking for this week's submissions for army lists, and then you can basically reply down here. You would just hit comment or thumbs up it, depending if you like my post or not, I suppose. And the idea that I was going to be was to submit your lists right into that, and then I'll pick them up and collect them together. The issue I am having right now is I'm backlogged on lists. Like, I already have all lists for this week. I'm going to try and do 1 extra this week, and then we have I think we've got room for 1 list next week, so it's going to be a little bit away. If you're not familiar with me, I have a young family, and getting time away to do Warhammer is kind of difficult. So I can't really do any more than I'm doing. But I will put up a community post for this week asking for list submissions. But if I can't get to you straight away, then I'm sorry. I will get to you as soon as I can. Right? Real life is important, I guess. Okay, so real quick, that is the Leviathan. If anyone has any questions about the Leviathan or anything like that, oh yeah, and within the live stream below, wherever you're watching the video, like if you're watching the video here, and there's a link here to join the Facebook group that I've set up. So if you have any questions, smaller questions you want to just ask me throughout the week, I'm trying to be active in that as well. That's usually when I'm on my phone, like looking after my daughter. So alright, let's have a quick look at the Contemptor, because we know that the Relic Contemptor was changing again, so it's dropped from 12 wounds to 9, but has picked up Duty Eternal, so I mean, I guess that kind of balances it out. The Relic Contemptor lost its 6+ Feel No Pain, which is annoying, but I mean, it's still 9 wound Dreadnought, and it's only 150 points, I think, or maybe 155. Let's get the costs up. What was it? Relic Contemptor, sorry, 140 points with the default weapon, which is quite strange now. So 2 heavy plasma cannons. I don't think I've ever seen anyone run a Relic Contemptor with 2 heavy plasma cannons, but I mean, that's what it is. So if you want to put on, like, I quite like the Fist for the Blood Angels, quite honestly, because like, we're a close combat based army. I'm trying to find it. Dreadnought Chain Fist. Where is the regular Fist? I guess if the regular Fist isn't included here, then maybe you just get it for free, because it says the Dreadnought combat weapon. These books are bad at having mistakes in them the second they come out. I guess the Dreadnought combat weapon is free, and if you want to swap out like your heavy plasma cannon for a multi-melta, it's 10 points. So it's 150 points to have that, and at that point its profile is identical, I believe, to the regular Contemptor within the book. It keeps the core keyword. It doesn't have smokescreen like Leviathan, but it does have the ability to be equipped with a Cyclone missile launcher. So I mean, if you run it with multi-melta and claw, or Dreadnought combat weapon, but it is a claw essentially, then it's exactly the same, but for where is it? Cyclone missile launcher. You can pay 25 points to get a cyclone missile launcher on it, which has been buffed as well. The cyclone missile launcher, the frag cannon, I believe, is 2d6 now. So if you were fighting something like orcs or something with lots of big squads, then you would get 12 shots per turn because of that blast cyclone missile launcher. They'd be pretty good against like anti-infantry and stuff like that. Yeah, so it also takes it costs 1 CP. This Martial Legacy rule basically means to include something from Forge World. It just means you have to pay 1 CP to include it in your army. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, I think the Relic Contemptor is still runnable. Obviously, it's a little bit weaker in that it lost its 2+ BS weapon skill and 2+ save, same as Leviathan. I guess going down to 9 wounds. It could go in a Storm Raven before. I believe a Storm Raven was 13 wounds at him. The only thing that couldn't go in the Storm Raven before was the Leviathan. But yeah, there's no bonus for running double melee arms or something like that. So unfortunately, this guy just sits on 4 attacks, and adding a melee arm doesn't give him anything. Okay, great. So let's jump into the first lists that we have today. So, let me just show you this. So these are the lists that I have at the moment. If your name is on this list, then you're lucky. You're going to get looked at today. Otherwise, next week we've got Afro Samurai, Kali Killed Nox Gaming, and Michael Wall. So I've got like maybe 1.5 spaces for next week, and it's purely the reason. Otherwise, when the channel was small, like, I was crying out for people to give me lists. Like, I would get 1 list submission a week. Now, I think I've had 6 or 7 the last 2 weeks, so it's kind of hard to stay on top of it. I just wanted to talk about one other thing before we move on to the lists then. And the thing I want to talk about is I've been running this Oath of Moment. I don't know if you guys have run this in 9th edition yet, but this is an objective that you can use, and it sits within the No Mercy, No Respite category. Oh, excuse me. And it seems like a really, really solid one to pick up points on as a Space Marine player. So if you select this objective, you score victory points at the end of each battle round for achieving the following 3 oaths. Oath of Valor. Score 1 victory point if any character, vehicle, or monster was destroyed by an Adeptus Astartes unit during your battle round. So, you kill an enemy character, vehicle, or monster in your turn or their turn, you get 1 point. Simple enough. Score 1 victory point at the end of the battle round as long as no Adeptus Astartes units from your army failed a morale test, and provided no Adeptus Astartes units from your army fell back during the battle round. Well, I would say that, like, on average, Space Marines maybe fail a morale test once per battle, and I mean, you can pay 2 CP to auto-pass a single morale test, right? Once per game, that's the rule for the auto-passing of... So I think, like, this Oath of Honor is worth 4 victory points. Easy, right? Like, you're never going to fail a morale test more than once in a battle. If you do, like, what are you running? Like, massive squads, or... And even then, you must be rolling really badly, like... I know in my last battle, I didn't fail a morale test. I think in the battle before that, I didn't fail a morale test. So, an easy 5 points here. And then, usually, like, an easy 2 or 3 points throughout the game, right? You're going to kill some characters. You're going to kill some vehicles or monsters. Each time you do that in each battle round, you get some points. So, you're looking at, like, anywhere between 4 and 7 points very easily. And then the last one, Oath of Duty. Score 2 victory points at the end of the battle round if an Adeptus Astartes unit is wholly within 6 of the centre of the battlefield. Now, it doesn't say you need to control the centre. It just says you need a unit in the centre. So you can put some sort of infiltrators in there, and that one is worth 2. So if you're in the centre of the battlefield 2 or 3 times throughout the game, that's another 4 to 6. I think that this one is... I'm putting up a battle report this week on the channel, where we played Eldar, and we took Oath of Victory, we took Oath of Moments, and if I didn't get the full 15 VP, I must have got like 14. It's a very, very interesting and also easy secondary, I think. So yeah, if any of you guys are playing and you haven't if you haven't fully read the Space Marine Codex, or you're just getting it, or some people have waited to just get the Blood Angel supplement, I believe they haven't bought the Space Marine Codex, then you need to basically check this secondary, because I've been finding great success with it. In 2 battles now, I think I've got maximum points, or 14 out of 15. So, yeah, let me catch up with the chat then. So, does the relic mean anything on the data sheet? No, I don't think the relic means anything now. It just means it's slightly better. Phoenix, it costs 1 CP. Yeah, it costs 1 CP to take basically any Forge World model now. Whichever detachment you have them in, you just have to pay 1 more CP for that detachment. The Leviathan is now an elite choice, so I mean, I guess as Blood Angels, you do run a lot of elites, so there could be a small problem with that. Maybe the cost of the Dreadnought Close Combat weapon is the same as it is in the Codex. Yeah, I mean, it could be. How much does it cost in the Codex, Bone Marrow? But I feel like it shouldn't be. I feel like it should just be Contemptor Dreadnought. It doesn't cost anything in the Codex either. Alright, so I think your combat weapon on your Contemptor Dreadnought is just included in the price. Yeah, I guess leaving combat can be a big tactical move, but really, how many times do you leave combat as a Blood Angels player? The only time I think you would be leaving combat is, like maybe you had some vehicle or something you wanted out of combat, or occasionally, like at the end of the game, I've definitely left combat to jump a squad into another board corner to get like engage on all fronts. So we could do that, I guess. Alright, so let's start with the first list, and as always, we have a slightly new spreadsheet. So we score every list out of 25, and then we actually, last week, it was pretty cool. Some people really liked the fact that we put a community score on the list as well. So after we go through the lists, I'll shout out in the community, or I'll shout out in the chat that you guys can score people's lists as well, and then we'll use that for like the total score. So that should be pretty cool. So this first list is submitted by Dante502, and it's a Vanguard detachment. So Battlescribe just updated today, apparently. Like right before I googled it, and someone said Battlescribe is updated. So I don't know if it's better for Blood Angels. I guess we'll find out. Maybe they fixed some of the weird points cost or some of the missing stuff. Hey Miles, I'm glad that you're finding the videos useful. You're very welcome. And played yesterday, only left with a solo outrider to shield my chaplain with Lookout Sir. A solo model doesn't shield. Oh, is it because no, bikes don't have the vehicle keyword? You might have played that wrong, Michael. If your unit is reduced to less than 3, if your unit has less than 3 models in it, it doesn't shield characters from Lookout Sir. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a lot of waiting for the supplement, Robin. I mean, what can we do? I'm still trying to play games of 9th edition, and I hope that when we get our supplement out, it makes things a little easier for us, because things can be a little bit difficult right now. Okay, so Dante's list. We start with Librarian Dreadnought, and we have Might of Heroes and Psychic Fortress. This is exactly what I'm running on this. And we also have the Biomantic Sarcophagus, which apparently there's no option to pick that. Oh, great! So Battlescribe is every time they update Battlescribe, they break something else. He's a Champion of Humanity, and he's running the Stormbolter. Champion of Humanity is the +1 attacks on the charge, right? He just adds 1 to his Warlord attack characteristic whenever he's within engagement range of an enemy character, and each time this Warlord makes an attack against character he rolls. So this is basically a character killer Dreadnought. I covered this guy like on my video like 2 weeks ago, so that's pretty cool. Someone else obviously sees value in this, so I like it. Then we have 2 regular Dreadnoughts. Dreadnought. One has the assault cannon, combat weapon with a storm bolter. The other one has the twin autocannon, combat weapon with a storm bolter. Okay, so a bit of clear from these two dreadnoughts. Our Redemptor dreadnought. This is going to be a very heavy dreadnought list. I haven't run one of these yet in 9th, but I have had a few people submit lists that's just like mad amounts of dreadnoughts. So it's the heavy onslaught cannon, the heavy flamer, and the frag storm. So this is basically the easy to build variant. Then we have a Relic Contemptor dreadnought, and this one has 2 twin link las cannons. Okay, so I guess we'll lose one of the fists and get a twin link las cannon. Twin link las cannons for 40 points when multi-melt is now or 25 points is pretty crazy. Like, I found that the board being much smaller now means multi-meltas are like really strong. Iron Resolve is the one that gives the dreadnought the feel no pain, right? I genuinely think that's really strong as well. I ran it in this. Yeah, I ran that in my game against the Eldar this week, and that dreadnought was alive at the end of the turn. At the end of the game with 6 wounds. Like, he was good to go. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the battle I had against Eldar. It's quite a tough game. Okay, a Relic Dreadero dreadnought with the autocannon battery and the heavy bolter. Autocannon battery, heavy bolter. It's a twin heavy bolter, isn't it? Yeah. So it's 6 shots, -1/2 damage a shot. I mean, these sort of changes have buffed things certainly. And then I guess because this list was submitted last week, then the Relic Contemptor Relic Leviathan is going to be down here. And it's got the Grav Flux, the Heavy Flamer, and the Storm Cannons. So we just talked about that. I guess Grav Flux, Heavy Flamer. I guess if you're watching this video, Dante, go back and listen to what I said at the very start of the live stream, because I feel like how did the Dead Rodeo change? I don't know. I only got pictures of a few of the pages from the Forge World book. I didn't get it yet. I think one of my other friends is getting it tomorrow. So if he does get it tomorrow, I'll see if I can borrow it from him, and we'll do a quick stream maybe, and you guys can ask questions about it, and we can just look it over. I haven't actually ordered it myself, just because I was waiting to see what Blood Angel stuff they're going to release this month. I'm ever hopeful of a new unit. Primaris Dante, Primaris Sanguinary Guard, something like that. I know a lot of people still love Sanguinary Guard. I still think they're struggling a little bit at the moment, but maybe that's just because the meta has changed, and like every list I'm playing against now has shitloads of multi-meltas in it. Like, it's no joke. You have drop pods full of Devastators with multi-meltas. You have reserves of Devastators with multi-meltas. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to do it. I don't want to just be like throw away the identity of the Blood Angels and take drop pods full of multi-meltas or reserves of multi-meltas, but I guess it's so strong right now. I guess people are genuinely running it. And one of the interesting things that I saw was someone was running Captain Tycho. Let me just get the Blood Angel supplement up. The one that was on the Games Workshop community site, right? So I haven't run Tycho in forever. I actually don't fully know what his stats are right now. I guess. So he's just a character. He basically has this reroll of 1s on core units. So people are reserving Captain Tycho with a Devastator squad full of multi-meltas and a Shurub. So you get 10 multi-melta shots. Most of them are hitting on 4s, but 4 of them are hitting on 3s, and then you can reroll all your 1s, right? Yeah, we're not here to play Red Salamanders. Precisely, however, this multi-melta shit is... Like, I think Games Workshop went too far, because when you get the additional +2 damage from those multi-meltas, I had Dante take 22 wounds in a turn, and I actually passed some of the saving throws as well. So, yeah, it was like Sisters of Battle, and they can make their multi-meltas shoot 36 inches, and they get +1 to the damage roll as well. So minimum multi-meltas with minimum damage 4 and 36 inches. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to run Tycho, but I guess if you're just wanting to drop them in and get a bunch of rerolls on your multi-meltas, then I guess that's what people are doing for this Rites of Battle aura. And I mean, think about this as well. Tycho has a Melta, so that just adds another... So if you're dropping in, or if you're coming in from reserves, now you've got another 11 Melta gun shots, you know? It's a lot. And I guess if you only shoot the Melta for Tycho, then he does hit on a 2, so it's another potential 8 damage. Or 6, I guess, because you wouldn't be within half range, but still. Okay, so this list, as we stand, he also has a drop pod, a Dreadnought drop pod. I think these have just gone up in price. I'll see if they were on the... Forge World costs that I had. Deathstorm drop pod is now 120 points. Dreadnought drop pod. Actually, no. Dreadnought drop pod is 70 points now. It's actually gone down in points. Wow. Okay. It's an expensive model to pick that up, but yeah, I mean, it's gone down in points. Okay, so we've got the Dreadnought drop pod, and then we actually have another detachment here, but before we go into the other detachment, this list right now isn't actually valid, because to have this Relic Leviathan Dreadnought before, you would actually need another heavy support choice. I guess it doesn't matter now, because this Relic Leviathan would become an elite choice, and you would just have to pay 1 CP to take it, which is fine, Dante. So you just need to... I guess it's irrelevant, but you just need to be aware of that. That's how it used to work. And then you actually have another Vanguard detachment here. And in that Vanguard you have 3 Death Company Dreadnoughts and a Venerable Dreadnought, which is a Chaplain Dreadnought. Has the Chaplain Dreadnought been made Legends? Or no, it's still there. I never noticed it in the Space Marine book. And the litany you put on that is the Canticle of Hate for the charge bonus. And just kept it with the combat weapons. Okay, and then you went heavy on the Death Company Dreadnoughts. 1, 2, 3. This is actually a little bit over 2,000 points. I guess maybe you're missing. Maybe you got your points cost messed up as well. You're over by like 150. I mean, with the Leviathan coming down by, what's it coming down, like 145 points, then maybe actually this list kind of stands as valid. And what you've just got Furioso Fists, Heavy Flamers, Smoke Launchers, and Storm Bolters. Okay, so let me catch up on chat again. The Plasma Gun on the Redemptor is fantastic. You need plenty of other shots on the Onslaught Cannon and Frag. Yeah, I think I agree with you. The Plasma Gun on the on the Redemptor got buffed, right? Now does 3 damage per hit. So yeah, I mean, a Redemptor Dreadnought is pretty strong at the moment. We used to run jump pack assault squads with Melta Guns the same way. Yeah, I mean, I guess we did. Just for me, the way it stands right now, it's like I just think they made Melta Guns, like multi-Meltas, too strong. With the strategic reserve, it's far too easy to just sit like a 100-point squad. I could probably build like a Devastator squad with 4 multi-Meltas. Like I probably have that in the cupboard behind me. I just haven't been looking at it. But like, if we did, just out of curiosity, like a Devastator squad with 4 multi-Meltas, how much are you for that? like 170 points, and then the Devastator squad is like power level 5 or something. Like, I feel like it's pretty low. Eradicator's power level 6. Devastator squad's power level 8. Yeah, so 170 points and one CP, and you can bring them in just about anywhere on the board after turn 1. You can counter anything with that, right? Like, I guess you put a Sherb in the squad as well. So 175 points, and you can just come in and fire 10 multi-melta shots. So it doesn't... You know, like, it means taking stuff like Land Raiders, Storm Ravens, any sort of transport, which I sometimes quite like to do. Like, it's so risky to take a transport when it can just be instantly popped like that. Yeah, I thought the Chaplain Dreadnought went to Legends. Maybe, like I said, Battlescribe is not always super updated, right? Like, I don't remember seeing the Chaplain Dreadnought in the Space Marine Codex. But, I mean, there was a bunch of Dreadnoughts, right? Like, because they added the Venerable and the Ironclad. Yeah, no, I think the Chaplain Dreadnought is Legends, but we'll review the list as is, and I mean, I can't always guarantee people submit lists that are super valid, but we can still have a look at it, right? And we can give it a score. So, how effective is this list going to be at holding primaries? I mean, you could park some Dreadnoughts on it, but obviously they're not OBSEC. So I guess a bunch of these Dreadnoughts are melee related as well, so probably I would say like its effectiveness at holding primaries is like 3 out of 5. I mean, it could certainly hold them, it's just not going to OBSEC them. How good is it going to be against clearing infantry or hordes? Well, we have a couple of autocannons. We have an assault cannon. We have a bunch of stormbolters. Oh, this added 2 Redemptors twice. That's why his list was over in points. Okay. He has the Onslaught Heavy Gatling Cannon. He has a Storm Cannon array. He has a Gravflux Bombard, which has a bunch of shots. You know, like, I think in terms of like clearing out hordes and stuff, it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's great either. But I mean, the Dreadnoughts have a bunch of flamers on them as well, so if you did get close, then you'd be able to use the flamers. So maybe we're like, let's say I feel like it's maybe a 3.5. I was going to say 4, but maybe 3.5. How's it going to do against high armor stuff, right? Well, like, if all these Dreadnoughts with their combat fists get in to whatever armor the enemy has, then it's going to have no problem at all. You've got, 3 Dreadnoughts there. I guess you would change out this Venerable Chaplain for another Dreadnought, but you'd have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Dreadnought Power Fists. So I guess in terms of anti-armor, I'd say you're fine. You just don't have any real shooting anti-armor, right? You know, you've got no las cannons or no multi-meltas or anything like that. So let's say it's a 4. How mobile is it? Well, I'd say this is the weakness. Dreadnoughts don't move nearly as far. A bunch of them got nerfed from 8 inches to 6 inches. So maybe its mobility is like 3. And then, so if the list is too specialised, I give you a lower score for specialised, right? Because you need like a list that can react to lots of different things. So this list is very specialised, in that it's all Dreadnoughts. It's maybe not going to be able to react to different threats or drops or whatever else. You know, like there's no psych. I suppose there is the one Psyker. I was going to say there's no Psyker. There is a Psychic Dreadnought. But I think its specialisation is generally quite weak. So I'm just going to make this a sum so I don't have to do math in my head and then you guys won't laugh at me when I can't add up. So yeah, I think that first list is maybe like a 16. Oh, hey guys. So Yeah, I mean, I miss the name Dreadnoughts. It's been a while, Smithville, since we've had the name Dreadnoughts. I didn't even remember the name of Cassor. I just remember Moriar from like 4th edition. And hey, Dark Artisan, nice of you to join. If you guys don't know, he's in the chat right now. Dark Artisan has an awesome channel where he does like today he was making Centurions for his Blood Angels, and yeah, I mean, I think he's got even more Blood Angels than me, and like. You guys know that I'm not the best painter, so I think if you want to check out like someone painting and having fun with Blood Angels, then you need to check out Dark Artisan. F in the chat for Mariar. Okay, everybody misses our named Blood Angel Death Company Dreadnought. Yeah, I miss them. How would this Dreadnought list work against flyers? Well, it wouldn't be able to charge any of the flyers, so I mean, I guess that's probably maybe specialization. Maybe we'd even drop to 2. An anti-vehicle against flyers, it would really suck. So yeah, I mean 16 is maybe a little bit maybe a little bit generous. If anyone wants to score Dante's list before we move on, scores out of 25, and these are the categories that we're scoring lists on now to see. Do you know what? I was making my list this week, and honestly, after doing this, I was like, why the hell am I not scoring my own list to see if, like, my own list, like, because I'm trying to play Khorne tomorrow, hopefully, and, yeah, I mean, like, I know the list that I'm playing tomorrow. It's usually, like, 3 rhinos all full of Khorne Berserkers, and they all get to attack twice, and then some of them can pay 2 CP to attack a 3rd time. So you have to pop the rhinos like quickly, or you just get overrun with berserkers. So Dark Artisan actually said that he also had the Space Wolf Codex, and he said like Space Wolves lost quite a lot of stuff. So I'm a little bit scared that we're also going to lose some stuff. I guess we'll have to see. Like the things that are going to hurt us the most that we don't get are like Standard of Sacrifice. I've been struggling a bit with my lists without that. Like I guess I relied on that way more than I realised I relied on it. The other thing is Upon Wings of Fire. Like I love the redeployment of a jump pack unit at any time during the game. I also like to sometimes redeploy a jump pack unit in turn 1 with that. Just because it really gave you options that like we're missing right now. And then the final thing was potentially we might not get Wings of Sanguinius back, and if we don't get that back, I'm going to cry about that. Alright, so one person, Gitley, has given you a 15 Dante, so hopefully that is useful. Was it 3rd edition, Morari? I guess I got confused. Nice. How are you arming your Ball Predators, Robin? Because I have one that's like half built that I was thinking of finishing, but I haven't quite decided if I'm actually going to put the Flamestorm cannons on it or if I'm going to just put an assault cannon on it. The Flamestorms are, I think they're still. I wish they'd made them like a. I wish they'd made them a flat number of shots rather than like. I think the Flamestorm they made it 2d6, right? I've got it in front of me. Oh no, it just made it d6. I hate weapons that are d6 shots. Like, it's just. I'd much rather if it was 2d3, so it went from like 2 to 6. But yeah, I mean, like, it just like what you're gonna do. You're gonna run your Ball Predator forward, and then you're gonna roll, and you're gonna get one shot. It's like, that, you know. I guess that's why I was waiting to finish building it. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's great that it all hits. Just I hate weapons that are unreliable because it's really hard when you're like strategizing on the battlefield. Rather, like. I need to kill 4 guys in that unit. Well, if that thing only does d6 shots, then how can you ever make a good call on that? You can't, right? Because you're like, you don't know how many shots it's going to get. Okay, let me figure out this next list. Alright, cool. So we've got a battalion coming up, and this battalion list was submitted by Jeremy. Jeremy might have had a second name. I guess in future I should have maybe write down the second name. if somebody submits a list, but I didn't this time. So if you're in the chat, Jeremy, go ahead and shout out. So you've been waiting a while for Battlescribe to update, and it looks like it's done. So here's a 200-point list. Someone says wings or I'm out. The Thin Blood Angels Codex, yeah. I mean, I guess you could magnetize options on the Ball Predators. Primaris jump packs. Yeah, do you know what? Primaris Flamestorm is D6 blast. Was it? I don't think it's blast. Is it? No, it's not blast. So you can fire it in close combat. Like if you get charged, you can still shoot. It would suck even more if it was blast. But yeah, you know the Death Company intercessors are in a really weird place, right? Like they get so many attacks. You just it sucks that you can only put 6 in Impulsor as well. Like I'm just wondering when they get rid of this stupid rule. Let's have a. Does anybody in chat? Let's have a 1 in chat if you actually like the rule that says you can't put Primaris in old vehicles and you can't put old Marines in the Primaris vehicles. So if you like that rule, put a 1 in chat. And I bet you will not see a single one because, like, I still don't understand why this is a rule. Because personally, I think the Impulsor is limiting that you can only take 6, and I really like you can take a repulsor to take 10, but I don't think the repulsor's that great right now, and it's so expensive point wise, right? Like I said, like what are repulsors at the moment? I think they're like 350 points, right? And they only have a 3+ save. Let me double check. A repulsor right now is 315 points. Without some of the extra weapons. If you put some of the extra weapons on it, you're looking at like 340 points. And like I just said, like you could just bring in one squad of Melta guys and they can delete that 340 points without even breaking a sweat, I would think. I mean, right, so if you... This is the issue that I'm having with games right now, is just the multi-melta spam is just crazy, right? So multi-melta spam, let's do it, right? So you bring in a multi-melta group, which we just said was 175 points with the Cherub. So you get like 4 multi-meltas hitting on 3s, and you get 6 multi-meltas hitting on 4s. This is assuming that the squad is moved because they've come in from reserve. So you've 175 points plus 1 CP. So the 4s... You know, so you get like 2 or 3 hits from the top one, and you get like 3 hits from the bottom one. So you're averaging about 6 hits. You're going to wound on 3s, so you're gonna wound. Repulsor is toughness 7. I'm going to double check this as well because I don't want to be giving bullshit, but I'm like 90% sure it's toughness 7. I haven't been running them. Oh right, okay, my bad. Repulsor is toughness 8. Glad I checked. So you're going to be wounding on 4s. So you're going to get 3 wounds on that repulsor, which has like 16 wounds, right? So it's not going to get any save because it's only got a 3+ save. So you're basically going to roll your 3d6, and let's say you're going to get the average. So 3.5 is the average if you do d6 damage, right? Because basically 1 to 6, so the average of that is 3.5. So you times that by 3 because you hit 3 times. So you do 10.5 wounds, and then you get plus 2 damage if you're within the 12-inch range because it's the multi-melta bonus. So you get 6. So literally your 175 point squad of multi-meltas has just come in from the edge of the board, and the repulsor is... If you roll the average dice roll, so you get nothing good and you've got no rerolls, nothing like that, you've just killed that repulsor. And that repulsor costs 340 points, right? And there's no risk to that, right? Like... Here's the issue I've got right now is like if we drop down a deep striking unit like a Death Company or like a Sanguinary Guard, we have to make a 9-inch charge, whereas this fucking multi-melta spam has 0 risk, right? Like with the deep strike, you either need to basically position so you're like deep striking through terrain or line of sight. You know, you have to be tactical, you have to think about stuff, you have to be smart. with this multi-melta spam, you don't need to be smart or anything. You just go like, alright, just bring in this multi-melta squad and I will delete that unit that costs twice as much as your unit, right? So, unfortunately, the meta I play in is like win at all costs. So people bring this shit in every game, and people don't just bring one squad of multi-meltas; they bring 2 squads or more. So, yeah, I don't know. I was hoping that we might get something in our codex that maybe makes some of our units a little bit more survivable. Or Games Workshop are going to need to visit. It's going to be the addition of multi-meltas. Like, that's where it seems like it is right now. Yes, okay, so nobody agrees with the vehicle rule. Everybody thinks it's dumb. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one that thinks that. Especially the Land Raider, right? If a Land Raider can fit a Centurion, then how the hell can it not fit a Primaris Marine? Like, come on. Like, he couldn't just duck a little bit if the doorway is a little small? Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and give the Sergeant a combi melta. Yeah, just be... Well, you can't have the Sergeant shoot right, though, because he's buffing that one guy to shoot on +1 to hit. So, yeah, you see how those multi-meltas, they're effective for Blood Angels, right? If you're playing against like an Iron Hands player, then he doesn't take the -1 to hit from being heavy on the multi-meltas, and he gets to reroll 1s if he's in Devastator Doctrine as well, because he's Iron Hands. So just basically look at those multi-meltas being 20 or 30% better. So I already said that they're overpowered for Blood Angels, so God knows, like, I don't know what they're going to do to fix that, but I think giving those multi-meltas those additional damage and reducing the point cost was the wrong way to play. Okay, so this list then, let's make a start. So this list is from Germany. So it's a Primaris captain. He's taken a master crafted weapon, plasma pistol, and power fist. All right, cool. This is plasma pistol and power fist is like the game day captain. Cool. So I haven't really seen many people run this guy in a list. So this is awesome. So maybe he's not the game day. Was he? He was like a store exclusive. I think he's a cool captain anyway. If you don't have one, I guess keep an eye out for the store exclusive when he comes back, because I saw one of these guys go on eBay with. I saw one go on eBay for like $70 or something. Like he cost. Oh yeah, look, here it is. He costs... Someone put one up. How do I see the original listing? Yeah, the Primaris captain with power fist. He's pretty cool, right? But like, this is the issue when they sell stuff for like 1 day. So he sold for 20 quid, and now people have him on eBay for 60. It's ridiculous. He's a cool captain though. So if he ever comes back, then buy him when he's on offer, because... like I said, I think I saw one sell for 70 as well. It's ridiculous. So he's given him the Warlord trait, and it's the Imperial Sword one, which means he can reroll charges. There's another part of that. What is it? You can reroll charges, and each time this Warlord add 1 to strength and attacks. All right, cool. So I mean, strength 9 power fist is nice. And then he also has Mephiston in this list, which seems brave, but okay. Chief Librarian Mephiston, where is he? Oh, I need to add the Blood Angels thing or it won't show up. Where it's chapter, isn't it? Chapter selection. Oh, Blood Angels. There we go. Right. So, Mephiston with Might of Heroes in Null Zone, and then Psychic Fortress. You know what? That's kind of interesting. I never thought about this before, but Mephiston doesn't have an invulnerable save. So the Null Zone aura with him might actually be quite good, because he isn't losing anything. at that point, I'd maybe drop Psychic Fortress and take Veil of Time to let Mephiston guarantee his charges, right? Like, it lets him reroll charges. And then he fights first. So it's like a free interrupt as well. Okay, but yeah, I mean, this is the Psychic Aura, Null Zone, Might of Heroes, and the Captain. It's a pretty cool start to the list. Then, a man of my own. Like, I love Assault Intercessors, so they're just not that great for OBSEC, right? Because you don't really... It sucks. Like, I always feel like you need to have a squad of Infiltrators or a squad of regular Intercessors with maybe, like, the Stalker Rifles, just because you need to hold that backfield objective in your own deployment zone, right? And there's no... If you're holding it with Assault Intercessors, they basically sit there the entire game and they don't do anything. So I like having one squad so you can shoot. But yeah, weren't Hellblasters really strong at the start of 8th? Hellblasters have had some changes recently as well, and the Assault version of them is nuts, right? Like, I was going to maybe see about running some sort of Hellblasters with the Null Zone rule. Let me put the camera over to the Codex. So the Hellblaster Assault Squad has been changed to Assault 3, and if you supercharge, Strength 7, -4, 2 damage. So if you had a squad of 10 of these guys, you would get 30 shots. You could potentially do 60 damage at -4. So if you had some sort of like... You'd need some way to reroll your ones, right? Because otherwise, like, a lot of your guys would die. But, yeah, I feel like that's a really interesting option now with the Hellblasters. Hello, Chris. Thank you for your message. I'm pleased to see how consistent you are with community engagement. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to keep up with everything. I'm trying to make sure that I answer as many questions as I can every week. So, and I do reply to every single comment if I can on YouTube. Quite often I'm replying on my phone though. Sometimes I'm in bed or something, but I am trying to reply and make sure that the Fire Strike objective to sit in the backfield. Yeah, I mean, that might work, Tom. It's not very survivable though, the Fire Strike, right? It's just 4 wounds or something. I was thinking that the Fire Strike might be more interesting as a strategic reserve. I mean, in the same vein that you're bringing on those multi-meltas to do a ton of damage. The Fire Strike has a BS of 2. I didn't notice that the first time I looked at his profile. But I mean, with BS of 2 and having those like twin last talons, I could totally see you doing some serious damage with it. Yeah, so BS 2 on the Fire Strike, toughness 5, 5 wounds. Oh, it has 1 more wound. I thought it had 4. Okay. And I mean, the Twiz last talon is strength 9 -3 d6 damage. So bringing that in a strategic reserve for 1 CP again, because it's nice and cheap, would be fine. Holding a backfield objective, maybe. Is a vehicle though. I was wondering if it had an infantry keyword. So it doesn't get any sort of cover save. So it's just got its 2+ save from 5 wounds. Maybe? I feel like you probably need something else around just in case. Like, it could still die fairly easily. Explosive Judgment Stratagems. How does the people feel about Explosive Judgment? I haven't used Explosive Judgment. I need to find it. I have been working my way through these stratagems and used quite a lot of them. Explosive Judgment. I'm not seeing it. No, where is You have to tell me, Chris, where Explosive Judgment is. I'm not seeing it. Okay, and then have I ever run Mephiston and a Librarian, or does it sound like overkill? I haven't. I tend to run just like in 8th edition. I just always ran Mephiston, right? Like, I think I always took Shield of Sanguinius to give him or something key a 5-up invulnerable save. I always took Wings to get him where he needs to go, and quite often I would take Quickening, but occasionally I might take Unleash Rage. But no, as far as running another Librarian, I felt like it's in the Blood Angels Index and it's incredibly powerful. Explosive Judgment. Oh, is that the Sanguinary Guard one where they can ignore cover with... when resolving an attack with a bolt gun, you can reroll the wound roll and the target does not benefit. Alright, I didn't actually... I thought it was just ignore cover, so you can reroll to wound. I guess it depends. Like, do you run a big Sanguinary Guard with... like, do you run 8-man Sanguinary Guards with bolt guns? I mean, then maybe it's decent. How is everyone submitting lists, Asim? I will show you later in the stream how to submit lists. We've had a few questions about that. Yeah, and a multi-melt attack bite is only 55 points, and you can get 2 of them for less than the turret. Yeah, I mean that the attack bite whole. Yeah, I mean the attack bite to hold in a backfield objective, would that be better than the? Would that be better than the turret? Yeah, maybe. Okay, so let me continue with this list for a minute. Invictor Tactical War Suits, he's got 2 of them. And then Sanguinary Guard, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, an 8-man squad, so this is pretty standard. Lots of people run 8-man squads of Sanguinary Guard. They are elites. Why am I not seeing them here? And these are all just with bolt guns and swords. I mean, I understand the sword pick now with +1 strength. Maybe swords are fine now. I kind of like the axes just because I guess they still kill infantry fairly effectively, but they also make it a bit easier to wound armor, I feel like. And the axes also wound toughness 5 models on 2s. So like enemy Gravis or like... I play against Death Guard quite a bit, so toughness 5 Death Guard wounding on 2s is kind of nice as well. And then heavy support, we have 2 squads of Eradicators. A lot of people running Eradicators, I guess, like equivalent, you know, this is the equivalent of the multi-melta spam that I'm talking about. Just running the, you know, they're basically just multi-meltas. You have to shoot at the same target, which is not a big deal. And I didn't even realise there was a weapon option for the Eradicators. I've never looked at it, but wow. It just makes their melta rifles do... Oh, it makes them heavy and they do a little bit more damage. Okay. And then the Relic Leviathan Dreadnought, which is, again, it was just at the start of the stream. I do think the Relic Leviathan Dreadnought was very good for Blood Angels before. I really like it in this configuration before with the Storm Clan and Claw Meltagun. I think now, and then I guess he's put a couple of Hunter Killer missiles on it to make this up to points. I think I've missed something though, hold on. Relic Leviathan Dreadnought, 2 Eradicator squads. Oh, he did actually put the heavy melta rifles into these squads. We have the 8-man Sanguinary Guard, we have the 2 Tactical War Suits, we have 3 squads of Assault Intercessors, and we have the Captain. Well, shit, I don't know what you missed with your list, but unless when I got it off the channel it didn't copy and paste properly. It doesn't look like it though. 2 Eradicator squads, Sanguinary Guard, 2 Tactical War Suits. Huh. Something has gone wrong. I don't know what's missing. Alright, I'm just going to have to look at your list as is and try and just balance out the missing points. So, how good is it at objective holding OBSEC? So, yeah, a 9-man squad of Sanguinary Guard with bolt guns would be pretty good. The lists are submitted on the community tab. I will show you how to do it later in the stream. I'm sure that loads of people always ask about lists. Axes are for clearing toughness 5 models depending on the meta, but I would always take some power fists. Yeah, I mean, I like to run axes and power fists. I usually mix them, like maybe 2. I run an 8-man Sanguinary Guard, and I think I run like 2 or 3 power fists, 1 infernal pistol, or 2 infernal pistols. Just depends on how many points is available at the end of the list, and then the rest axes. And I guess the reason I'm running those infernal pistols is the same reason that everyone's running melta-guns at the moment, is that they're broken, and the fact that they can do 8 damage in a single shot is just ridiculous. So if you like have Dante near the Sanguinary Guard and you let them and he's your warlord, so they hit on 2s, so you have 2 infernal pistols hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s. You know, it's very easy to see how that could turn into like a lot of damage. What part of Britain am I from? I'm from right up north of Scotland. So if you ever see me, look, there's like a jumper on the chair over here. I'm wearing a jumper. I'm wearing gloves. I'm inside and it's freezing. And we're not even, like, it's like the beginning of November. Winter in Scotland, where I am, it's like 6 months. Honestly, it's been cold for like a month. I'm actually sitting in a blanket as well. How do I see the complete list? I don't know. Like, I copied this list from a YouTube comment because people send in the list via comments. So I guess something went wrong with it. Okay, so how is this list going to be objective holding? I mean, you could hold 3 objectives in your own deployment zone. You could obsec them all with your assault intercessors, but assault intercessors don't really want to be sitting on and holding objectives. Like, maybe run 2 assault intercessor squads and a squad of infiltrators, and the infiltrators can at least sit and hold and shoot with their 24 inches, or an intercessor squad if the enemy doesn't have too many deep strikes, and you can use stalker bolt rifles and you can get that up to 36 inches, I believe, and those guys can be useful for the whole game. So I'd say like it's like maybe a 3.5 for obsec. Just, it's not bad, but it seems like a waste of your assault intercessors to hold objectives. That's just showing that you're Scottish and not turning the heating on. You're 100% right. Do you see the radiator back here? Like, that radiator doesn't get switched on, right? It's like, it's just more clothes and more blankets is how we deal with the cold in Scotland. Alright, anti-infantry and horde effectiveness. Like, you could use your tactical war suits to take out a bunch of infantry. The Leviathan can take out some infantry with that storm cannon. It's really hard to say because I guess we're missing a bit of your list. The Sanguinary Guard probably, they could take out infantry, but it's probably not the main reason that they're on the board, right? But you do have them with swords, so I guess with swords they're quite good against infantry. If I just had to quickly finish this list right now with the last 200 points, I'd add a Death Company, or I'd add another large squad of Sanguinary Guard, or even Vanguard Veterans. That's probably how I'd finish out this list. Like, you have enough heavy support here with the 6 Eradicators and the Relic Leviathan, I feel. So, anti-infantry horde, we'll say you could do it. I'll say 4. I feel like that's maybe a little bit generous, but I think 3.5 is harsh. I don't think I'm going to go with like 3.75. Like, I'll do it in 0.5s. How good is this list going to take out armor? Well, like your Eradicators, if you can get them in position, they can certainly take out armor. The Invictor's war suits, I believe the power fists on them are like strength 12, so they can take out armor. Your Captain can take out armor. Mephiston can take out armor. If the Sanguinary Guard had some fists and axes again, they could take out armor. So it's quite a solid. It's quite solid, I think. So we'll probably say 4 for that. Mobility, as it stands, like I said, I guess you're going to struggle a little bit with your objective holding. You don't have any transports or anything like that. So maybe you do have the 1 squad of Sanguinary Guard that can move around. It's better than the Dreadnought list, but it's still not great, I guess. If you had a Death Company in there, or if you had another squad of Vanguard Veterans, then maybe that mobility could become 4. And is the list overly specialised? Like, does this list only do one thing? I don't think so. I mean, it might have been worth saying in the anti-infantry section, the assault intercessors get like 26 attacks, right, on the charge after turn 3. So I think I've had an assault intercessor squad run into like 20. They weren't Nurglings. They're like Death Guard troops, like Death Guard zombies or whatnot. And like the assault intercessors can wipe out like 15 of them per turn, and when they hit back, they take like 1 wound. So the squad's essentially still fighting at full strength. So yeah, I think this list isn't overly specialised at all. I think there is things you would struggle with though, right? Like, I think the biggest problem with this list is I feel like you'd be a bit thin on the ground in close combat. Like, I think you'd want one more close combat squad in it. So maybe like 3.5. I mean, it's really hard to base the list because I don't know what your final choices were. So Poxwalkers, yeah, thank you, that's the one. So an assault intercessor squad can kill like 15 Poxwalkers easily on the charge, or if they're charged, and basically they don't lose anything when that happens. So yeah, maybe this is a little bit harsh on this list, but as I say, I don't know what went wrong, Jeremy. I guess submit another list. There'll be a queue because like everybody's asking to submit lists, but I will get to you when I can, and hopefully this was okay. So if anyone in the community, if Jeremy is going to watch this, he can obviously see the chat as well in real time. So if anyone in the community wants to shout out 2 things, I guess. What you think his list's worth out of 25, and then what would you add to this list with 285 points left to finish it off? And let me catch up on chat. Well, apparently I do feel the cold, Dove, and yeah, I mean it is cold in here. Auto bolt rifle intercessors with a power fist sergeant is the best troops choice in 9th edition. Auto bolt rifle intercessors. I have not looked at auto bolt rifle intercessors. How many shots do they get at the moment? Let's have a look. Auto bolt rifle is assault 3, 4 damage, strength 4, 1 damage. Okay, I mean that's decent. Yeah. If you're moving forward and you want to kill stuff, I guess auto bolt rifle intercessors are not bad. Yeah, I'm right up north. And I think I'd give this 16.5. Hard to judge when it's missing the full list, but I think it would move up to 18 with the addition of a mobile hammer like the Death Company. Alright, so one person gave you 16.5. So, yeah, and I guess the suggestions were, maybe, you know what, I'll make a suggestions column. I do like the Death Company, and I do think the Death Company have a lot of value in 9th edition. I ran against the Eldar that I played this week, or last week. Like a 6-man Death Company or something, and it's like 30 attacks on the charge after turn 3. It's a lot of chainswords, and it's a lot of -2 saves. So yeah, I think the Death Company in a small squad like 150 points is very valuable at the moment. Yeah, and I guess the auto bolt rifles is pretty cool. I guess that's why I like the look of the assault Hellblaster weapon, right? Like, it seems pretty cool as well, especially if you have something to re-roll. And then, no, not as far up as Shetland. Like, I'll show you on the map, Google Maps. Alright, so this is the United Kingdom. I'm like here. So, I mean, I guess not as north as you can, but pretty north. And I mean, this is the North Sea, so it's like, yeah, just like a couple of miles away from the North Sea, right up here. So about as far from London as you can get. One of my friends once said, like, from Europe, he's like, oh, I'm going to come to London, I'm going to visit you. And I'm like, you've never looked at a map, have you, right? Like, it's not like, London is not 5-minute drive from where I am. It's like 12 hours. Okay, and then Adam gave you 17 for this list. And he said, the Assault Intercessors, swap one out for like a standard or heavy and add another mobile unit, and then he thinks it would be up to 19. Alright, so hopefully that helps you, Jeremy, get this list rolling. I'm just going to keep going today, try and get into the next list, try and get them all finished, and then if there's any other questions in chat, we'll come back to it. Alright, so this one comes from Kevin. If you're in the chat, by the way, and if I'm starting your list and you're in the chat, please shout out, and that way... Alright, so Kevin, greetings Blood Angels Commander. I love the channel. If you ever set up a Patreon, I'll be sure to let you know and throw you a few bucks your way for the premium content you provide. That's very kind. I have a list. Hope I am posting it in the correct spot. Alright, and then again at the end he says thanks very much. You know, what I like with these lists, right? A couple of people did it last week. I think maybe the next list we're looking at this week has it. No, it doesn't. All right. When you submit me a list, it's lovely to get a comment like this, like, "Hey, great." But what I would also like you to do is tell me how you plan to use the list a little bit, right? Like, say, like, I'm going to deep strike these veterans with the such and such captain, and or the bikes are going to push the flank, or these guys are going to hold the objectives. Because when I'm coming to score it, if I know exactly what you're doing with the list, then it makes it a bit easier. Whereas, like, if I just have to guess how I would do it, then maybe I miss something that's like super obvious to you, but maybe it's not obvious to me. Have I done any list for kill team? So I have a kill team, and I've played in a kill team tournament last year, but I haven't actually reviewed any kill team lists. I'm a little bit out of practice with kill team, but I mean, if there's something that you wanted to, if you have kill team questions, probably the best thing to do would be to join the Facebook group, and I could maybe answer a couple of questions there. I guess the main focus on the channel right now is 40k 9th edition, because that is what I'm primarily doing every week, and that's what I can give the best knowledge out. And then check out Death From Above 40k channel. Yeah, Death From Above, I've watched him a few times. He's a pretty cool channel. Yeah, you definitely need a reroll one source on the Hellblasters. But, I mean, that's easy enough to do now with the Dreadnoughts, right? With all the Dreadnoughts being core, you could have, like... You could even do it with the Librarian Dreadnought, I was thinking. Have the Librarian Dreadnought, put up your Psychic Fortress so everything around him gets a 5+ save, pay the 1 CP for Tactical Precision, or Wisdom of the Ancients, that gives Rights of Battle, so everything around him rerolls ones, and then you could basically be advancing those and those Hellblasters across the battlefield, doing a lot of damage, especially if they get 30 shots if you take the 10-man squad. It seems very powerful. And I guess, yeah, so I don't know if I'm starting up a Patreon anytime soon. Probably not. Probably just focusing on growing the channel at the moment and hanging out and providing value. I mean, that's the value. If you do, if you really want to give me some money, then there is a button on the channel now. I think it's down below the chat. You can send like a super sticker or something, and I think they cost like $1, and I have no idea how much I get because no one's ever sent one. But it's there if that's something you want to do. But as far as doing a Patreon, like, I already have a job in real life, and that takes up a lot of my time. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing this at the moment because I want to get better at 9th edition 40k. I'm sure you guys all want to get better at 9th edition. And, yeah, like, I genuinely like finding out new tactics and stratagems, and I think the thing for me is I genuinely like beating all my friends, right? And yeah, although the environment I play in is fairly casual, like if someone forgot to do a psychic power, or if someone forgot that they had a feel no pain, I would let them do it, probably. But at the same time, like I'm out there to win, right? Like I prefer competitive lists. I'm always trying to build competitive lists. And another thing to say, when I'm building lists for myself, I'm trying to build lists that aren't tailored to any specific battle, right? Like I'm trying to find that definitive Blood Angels list that can beat everything, and that's, you know, because if I'm playing a game tomorrow, for example. I haven't sent my friend my list for tomorrow's game because I don't want him to tailor his list just to beat it. But like I've built my list, and I've built it blindly, not looking at his list, just sort of knowing, trying to build like an all-round list for 9th edition. And especially like if you are a competitive player and you want to go to tournaments or anything like that, then you don't have the ability to tailor lists, right? Because like at the tournament you don't know who you're going to be playing. Is this your list, Eldar? But yeah, the tournament you don't know what you're going to be playing, right? So you want to create a list that that beats everything, or it does well against everything. Maybe it doesn't beat everything, right? But that is the ultimate goal for the channel right now, is to help people create lists that will be really competitive, and I guess make Blood Angels a terror to play against on the tabletop. That's my goal, I'd say, for this channel right now. So, alright, cool. So, yeah, Eldar then, tell me, real quick, while I'm putting your list into Battlescribe and talking it over, write me like one paragraph here, telling me how you plan to use this list. Like, are you deploying it on the board? Have you got any strategic reserves? Are you deep striking everything? Like, what's the general thought about this list? All right, so let me go ahead and start making it real quick, and we can talk about it as we go through. Captain, and that's another thing to say. Like, if you submit me a list, try and, if you can, be around for the live stream, because like it's really cool if you're in the channel and we can like chat over the list as we're going through it. Alright, so we have a captain. He has a storm shield and he has the Teeth of Terra. That's a chainsword relic, isn't it? I'm not sure how to pick that within Battlescribe. Teeth of Terra, here we go. Alright, so we have a captain with a storm shield and the Teeth of Terra. We have a Librarian Dreadnought. Everyone's running Librarian Dreadnought at the moment, it seems like. Might of Heroes. Veil of Time makes sense. Rights of War, I like it. Rights of War gives him the ability to... Oh cool, they fixed it so you can be a hero of the chapter. Rights of War basically makes everything within 6 inches obsec. It seems strange to pick Rights of War and to not take Psychic Fortress, because that gives you the aura for the 5+ invulnerable save for everything around him, but I mean, that's your choice, I guess. And then the Primaris Chaplain. Litany of Faith, Recantation of Focus, and we've upgraded the Captain to the Master of Sanctity, and we've taken Invocation of Destruction and Litany... Oh, sorry. No, Invocation of Destruction and Litany of Hate, the two that you get for free, right? And then he's also taken the Warlord trait, I think? Wise Ordiner. You have to pay for Hero of the Chapter again for that, yeah. And then Wise Ordiner. What does this one do? I don't remember. Each time this Warlord... Oh, yeah, so Litanies go off on 2s. And if you want to use the thing that guarantees the Litany cast, it only costs 1 CP. Okay, so basically we can cast 2 Litanies per turn. I think it's actually... Yeah, he casts 2 now, doesn't he? So he knows 3 and he can cast 2. I think... Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, and then troops, incursors, intercessors, and a tactical squad. Okay, this is a different choice from most. Incursors, intercessors, tactical squad. What's the ornaments? Incursors, just as they are for 105 points. Intercessors with a Power Fist for 110 points. I kind of like the Power Fist on the Intercessors. I think the Thunderhammer is kind of overcosted at the moment at 20 points. So I think the Thunderhammer is also overcosted on the Death Company at the moment. I think I'm just going to run Power Fist personally. And the Thunderhammer did lose minus 1 AP, so I'm not sure why it stayed so costly. And then a Tactical Squad. Okay, you've written here Meltabombs. Did Tactical Squad still get Meltabombs? Did I miss that? Holy shit, I missed that. I did that in this week's video. I talked about units that got... why is my camera messed up now that you can't see the top of the page? So the Tactical Squad did indeed get Meltabombs. No way. How I missed that. So Tactical Squads, Assault Squads, Vanguard Veterans got Meltabombs. Did anyone else get Meltabombs? I honestly didn't look at Tactical Squads. I mean, that's nice that they get the Meltabombs. And then the Sergeant just has a bolt pistol and bolt gun. So you just put a bolt gun on the Sergeant rather than the chainsword. I mean, I guess that's fine. I assume you just don't want them in close combat. Alright, so elites, we have a Redemptor Dreadnought with the Plasma, the Onslaught, the Fragstorm, the Icarus Rocket Pods. Yeah, I mean, that's a good loadout for him. Macro Plasma, Onslaught, Fragstorm, Rocket Pods. We have a 215 point Terminator Squad, so that will be regular Terminators. And we have 2 with Chain Fists. So we do have a heavy weapon in here. And the heavy weapon is the Cyclone Missile Launcher. And he's the one that the Cyclone Missile Launcher has the Power Fist. And then I guess we've just got 2 regular Terminators. Sorry, it would be 1 regular Terminator with the Power Fist and the Sergeant. I mean, I think that's a good way to build the squad, right? So you've got 3 Power Fists, 2 Chain Fists. It lets you... The Chain Fists have the extra damage against vehicles, but it's D3 against like other units. So you have like guaranteed vehicle damage. You have fairly solid damage against regular units. Then you have Vanguard Veteran Squad for 145 points. Bunch of Power Fists and Storm Shields in this squad. So it's like... And do they have jump packs? No. Is it just Storm Shield, Power Fists, Storm Shield, Power Fist, another one like that, and then 2 with Power Swords. Okay. I mean... The advantage to the Vanguard Veterans, the fact that they're so customizable, means that you almost want to take like a few of them just with the chain swords. I feel like so that you can take the wounds on the cheap ones with the chain swords, right? So you can save some points there, and you could use them elsewhere. But we'll keep moving on and then come back. Then we have an attack bike squad with a multi-melta. Attack bike squad with the multi-melta makes sense. I mean, multi-meltas have been buffed a lot, so everyone's running them. Outrider squad, 1 regular squad of 3 guys. Ball Predator with twin assault cannons and heavy bolters. Do you know what? I've been thinking about running a Ball Predator now that the heavy bolters got buffed with the twin assault cannon. I just haven't done it. And then a Devastator squad with plasma guns. This seems fine, I guess. So the plasma gun's a little bit cheaper. So the Sergeant has a combi flamer. And then all these guys have plasma cannons, which are 5 points less than the multi-meltas. I mean, as it stands, I feel like you'd be better dropping a weapon or 2 drop a weapon or two out of the Vanguard veterans, and just, if you're going to run the Devastator squad, run them with multi-meltas, and then Eradicator squad with the Melta rifle. I'll catch up on chat in just a second. And then a drop pod with the Deathwind launcher and a Rhino with a Stormbolter. Okay, dedicated transport. Drop pod with the Deathwind launcher and a Rhino with a Stormbolter. Okay. Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the rumen. Yeah, I love the Conan quote. It's just what I own and want to know if it could work. Yeah, I mean, if this is all that you own, then, I mean, it could work. Let me see what else you said. Teeth of Terror is looking pretty good these days. Yeah, Teeth of Terror is pretty crazy. Like, you get a lot of attacks with that. You refuse to play the Librarian Dreadnought just because you hate the model. Yeah, I mean, it's not aged the best, the model. I mean, there was one actually posted this week in the Blood Angels Commander group on Facebook that just looked phenomenal. I don't remember who posted it, but I think there is a way to see media, right? So someone posted, let me see, this. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool, right? I mean, I didn't even notice before there was like a is this supposed to be like a young Blood Angel with the golden hair or something? But yeah, I mean, it's so good it almost looks like it's just drawn, right? It's not actually the model. It's I don't know. I mean, the model is dated, but if you do this sort of customization and stuff to it, it still does look pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, running cursors. And cursors are great, and infiltrators are really great as well. You can do so much with them. You know, like in terms of zoning out the opponent, in terms of stopping them deploying where you want them to go. Yeah, scouts are kind of in a weird place. So, what did you say? What are you parking? You're just parking them on objectives. Yeah, I mean, that's fine as well. You could always ask the Dark Artisan for a supplement book to review. Like, why does he get multiple supplement books? Maybe just go bike squad with Meltguns or combi meltas instead of Outriders. Yeah, I mean, Outriders I think are great when you do the charge and you get that bonus for the charging, right? Once the turbo boost bonus for the 2 extra charge attacks is worn off, they kind of fall off a little bit, in my opinion. What are we thinking with the rest though? Like, your troop choices are fine. You know, like let's just go ahead and score it. And so how can you hold objectives with this? Well, of course, you've got a tactical squad. They've been buffed to 2 wounds. So you've got your interceptor squad with bolt rifle. You've got your incursor squad. I feel like your obsec is decent there. The dreadnought can obviously hold an objective. You can push some objectives with the outriders, right? Like they can flank and they can potentially take an objective for you. They can be backed up with a bike with a multi-melta. You've got a rhino, so you could have the tactical squad inside the rhino. Your Vanguard vet squad could also be inside the rhino. You could use that to test objective. You can use your drop pod and just drop it on an objective in the enemy's deployment zone. You know, like basically clear out what enemies have there, and then use the drop with the drop pod. So I think your OBSEC is the highest of today. Like I think your objective control is very decent. What do we think about cleaning out hordes? Well, you know, your outriders, your terminators, your Vanguard vets. I mean, I guess they can all do a bit of clear. The Ball Predator, I mean, that's definitely going to be good against hordes. The Devastator squad, not so much. The Eradicator squad, not so much. But I think you're probably going to be okay. I mean, unless you're going to get swarmed by heaps of infantry. Maybe you're like a 3.5 here for anti-horde. How do we do against vehicles? I think it does fairly well. Like, your Terminators can obviously kill them with the chain fists. Your Devastator squads can pop some vehicles with that many plasma shots. Your Eradicator squad can do that. I guess maybe your Captain's slightly better against Hordes with the Teeth of Terra. I mean, like, maybe you just need a Relic Blade on that if you wanted to kill armor. Like, I think a lot of people are running a Captain with, like, a Relic Blade. Maybe armor. I mean, bar the Terminators and the Redemptor, it's going to be... do you know what? I feel like it's in between a 3.5 and a 4 for me. I think I'll say 4. I think it's slightly better armor than it is against anti-infantry. Mobility. Having the Rhino, I guess, and having the bikes gives it some mobility. The rest of the list is lacking. So yeah, maybe mobility is like 3.5 here. And then I think it's quite a versatile list. Like, I think you've got a lot of different... things. Yeah, I mean, Terminators are objective holders, right? But they're not objective secured. Drop pod, Devastators, and Captain. Alright, so yeah, if you're drop podding your Devastator and your Captain, then really you want those to be multi-metas. Like, I guess if you've already got the plasmas, then that's fine. You could high power them, but if they were multi-metas, as it stands, multi-metas are just a lot better for the 5 extra points you would pay. So I guess your specialization, I think overall, I think it's fairly fine. Like, I don't think you're specialized. I think this list is well rounded. I think you could get the job done in a lot of situations. It depends on how competitive your meta is, but yeah, I think I'm going to give you a 4 for that. Like, I think it's well diversified. I think so. I honestly think that's a 19 out of 25. If that's just the models you've owned and you've just started collecting, then I think you've bought well. Like, I think most people, when they just start collecting, you buy stuff and then you realise, like, hey, that's not going to work for me. So if anyone has any suggestions on what would be the next thing, I guess, Kevin would buy, or if they want to give him a score out of 25, please go ahead and do that in the chat now and I will update it. I noticed that Dark Artisan was saying that some of the heroic intervention stuff on the Space Wolves got really nerfed, I believe. So, yeah, and I mean, if it was up to me, like, if I had to buy something next, what would I buy to improve this list? Although I'm telling you multi-metas are great, I'm probably not gonna do them personally, just because, like it said in the chat, like, it's just not very Blood Angels to just run Devastator squads full of multi-metas. I noticed you don't mention Death Company or Sanguinary Guard, and, like, they're two of our most iconic and strongest squads, I guess. So, oh, cool. So Gitley has scored every list today. He's on fire. Thank you for that so much, Gitley. And he's giving you 19.5. You know what? He was harsh on the other two lists as well, so you must have done something right. So yeah, I think overall that, I mean, I think if there's a way to fit some Sanguinary Guard in here, that would be great. I'm not sure what you would drop, though. I guess that's the question. You don't have a transport for this Primaris Chaplain, right? So where is he? Is he just running across the battlefield? Maybe he would be the thing to drop and take, like, a small 5-man Death Company, or, 120 points is the cost of a 4-man Sanguinary Guard. So you could have a very small Sanguinary Guard that could just be available to drop down somewhere else. Pop an opponent off an objective, get some more VP. But yeah, I think I agree with Adam in saying, like, let's wait. Our supplement is coming next month, and I think Games Workshop are probably going to announce something, probably like next weekend, right? They'll probably tease or something on, like, the 14th or the 15th, and pre-orders will probably go like the 21st or the 28th, something like that. So maybe you know, the only reason I haven't bought anything myself is like I'm just sitting around waiting to see what's coming and maybe see what we're going to buy next. Okay, so great list, Kevin. Well, two things. Thank you so much for submitting it, and also thank you for being in the chat, because I think it's cool when the person who submits the list is in the chat. Okay, and then we have one here from Robert. Oh, shit, I just moved my whole frame in OBS. I guess that's supposed to be locked. Sorry about that if the screen just did a bit... If things just went a bit weird for a second, sorry. Okay, and Robert doesn't say if it's a battalion, so I guess just based on the fact that there's troops in that, we will guess. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you because you know, like, although like I primarily just stream on a Sunday, like I have done, like when we got that supplement drop in the middle of the week, like I did do an extra stream that week just to talk about the supplement because it was like interesting, and I guess the second I get my hands on the new codex in whatever form, is it like if it's a leak or if it's screenshots or whatever, I'll go ahead and I'll probably go ahead and do the stream the day I get it, just because I want to share it, I guess. So, you know, like Kevin, if you want to jump back in the day that gets announced or whatever, into the stream then, and you have questions on what you think you should buy to help finish out the list, I'm totally happy to answer those. But yeah, I mean, we need to see all the stratagems that we get. I buy my models off what I like in the lore and the look of the competitiveness, be damned. I just got the Terminator Assault Squad despite the supplement coming out next month. I may be in the minority. You're not, Dove. I buy stuff because it fits the Blood Angels lore, and I paint stuff and I convert stuff all the time. I actually, do you know what? I want to show you guys what I'm working on at the moment. Like I said, I'm not the greatest painter, and I know I'm the slowest painter, but I've been working on the... Let me see if I can actually get them in focus. Here we go. So I've been working on some of these assault intercessors. So this is basically like... This one would be, let's say, like 90% finished. I haven't done transfers, and I haven't done any sort of washing on the metal. And I wanted to do hazard stripes on the chainswords. I haven't done them before, period, so I wanted to try that. So this is one that just I didn't convert, but I love doing conversions. So this is the sergeant which I did convert. So we gave him like a different helmet, like I think it was like a Death Company or Sanguinary Guard helmet. Put this little thing on the back of him. He has a regular helmet on his back here, so if anyone asks me why he's got a regular helmet, he picked it up off a dead warrior in case someone else lost their helmet, you know, so that's why he's got that extra helmet. And then he's actually got like a Sanguinary Guard, like feathered sword here. I haven't done the feathering on that, I guess, and I haven't done the metal. And then I haven't done like his little shoulder thing, or the transfers on these guys either. But I think one of the funnest parts of Blood Angels is that there is so many options, and you can't just work on them because you think they're cool, right? So if that's what you want to do with your model stuff, then no one should judge you on that. You know, like the rule of cool is a thing, and what goes around in Warhammer tends to come around, right? So it's like maybe Terminators, you know, like Terminators have been useless for a whole edition. Now they are arguably the hardest to destroy models on the board. Yeah, sorry. So we're going to get on to Robert's list, which actually starts very similar. We've got Commander Dante, we have Lamartes, we have the Sanguinor. Then we have a massive Death Company. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's a 10-man Death Company. 10-man Death Company right now might be overkill. If these guys all have bolt pistols and chain swords, I really think that might be overkill. I don't know if you're going to need that many. He must have submitted this list before the Battle Scribe update as well, because the point costs are slightly out. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, like, that's going to be 60 attacks. If you're running that with Lamartez, he lets them reroll the charges. 60 chainsword attacks at -1 or -2 now is like, it's overkill. Like, I don't know if you run that into another infantry unit, you're going to kill them for sure. I run like a 5-man Death Company, and we get the Death Company get plenty attacks now against infantry. They're just it's like meat into the grinder. They just eat through it. So we have a tactical war suit, a Judicar, and a Sanguinary Ancient. Tactical war suit, Judicar, Sanguinary Ancient. So Sanguinary Ancient obviously got buffed, well, nerfed. Like, his point cost just went through the roof. He's really hard to run right now, and the banner is nowhere good as it was before. This is on 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 Sanguinary Guard. Sanguinary Guard. 2, 3, 4, 5. And the point cost will be out on this list just because things have changed. He has a Terminator squad, and then is it just Lightning Claws? Yeah, I mean, Lightning Claw Terminators are really nice right now. They get a lot of attacks, and then 2 Outrider squads. So, unfortunately, his list is 45 points over, but it's just because the point costs have changed with the supplement, and I guess Battle Scribe wasn't updated. And like I said, I'm running a little bit behind on lists because there are so many lists coming in. It's kind of hard for me to keep on top. But yeah, so I haven't run Commander Dante and the Sanguinar together yet in a list, and I'm not sure that you need both, I guess, would be my question. Maybe if you're running like... But then, see, I was going to say, maybe if you're running like the Sanguinar with the Death Company and Commander Dante with the Sanguinary Guard, maybe you would use both. But he has Lamartez as well to run with the Death Company. And Lamartez litanies now only affect the Death Company. If you guys are getting any value out of the stream today, if you would hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. So, and then Outriders, so we've got, but then again, we've got the same issue with Assault Intercessors. Yeah, it's a really hard dilemma for Blood Angels, right? Like, you want to take the Assault Intercessors because they're the best squad that we have, but then when you talk about 9th edition, you talk about having to hold objectives, then Assault Intercessors are poor, to say the least, when you're holding objectives, right? You get 5 bolt pistol shots at 18, whereas you could take like the Stalkers and you could get like a 2 damage shot at 36 with the regular Intercessors for just 5 more points. So, or you could take the Infiltrators and totally deny out some deep striking. Yeah, so I guess this is a question, and then the Death Company and the Sanguinary Guard, obviously, they do work every game. The Assault Terminators with Lightning Claws, I mean, they kind of fill the same role as this Death Company, right? These Death Company with Chainswords are going to kill a lot of infantry. These Assault Terminators with Lightning Claws are going to kill a lot of infantry. Your Sanguinary Guard with just swords, they're going to kill a lot of infantry. So I think in this list, I've run lists like this, but I think they're... Yeah, I mean, I've started taking Dante a lot more. I still think he needs to be a little bit more survivable. Did anyone pick up Darkness in the Blood yesterday, actually? The new audio book with Dante and Mephisto. And if you did pick up Darkness in the Blood, let me know what chapter you're on. I'm on chapter 6. No spoilers here, I guess, because some people might not have read it. But if you did enjoy Devastation of Baal, then I think the new Darkness in the Blood book is amazing. Friday's video actually had an offer on how you could grab a copy of it for free on Audible, so you can do that if you want. But yeah, I mean, I would have listened to some more chapters, but once the baby's awake, that, you know, she's shouting and stuff, it's very difficult to concentrate on audiobook. Well, you did get it, Dav. All right, awesome. What chapter are you on? So yeah, this list feels like, right, especially Dante, Sanguinary Lamartis, all these things. I mean, these guys can kill armor, but they're not great at it. They're better than they were with a flat 2 damage, but again, none of them are amazing at killing armor. Your Assault Intercessors, they're not good at killing armor, but they'll grind infantry. The Death Company, I mean, if the Sanguinary Guard had a bunch of Power Fists and Infernal Pistols in it, you might be better off. Or if this Terminator Squad was a bunch of Thunder Hammers, you might be better off. But where it stands right now, then, I'm just going to review this based on what I see. You're in Chapter 12, nice. Oh, do you know what? I love having the physical books, Adam. There's something really special about having the physical books, right? Like, it feels better, but just where I am in my life, I get the audio book and then I usually buy the physical book after, just because it's like a time thing for me. Nice, Mr. Morning Sloth, that's awesome. Oh, you got the special edition. Alright, I'm jealous. Yeah, a couple Infernal Pistols. So, where we stand with this list then. Can we hold objectives? Yes, we can, but we talked a little bit about how Assault Intercessors aren't great for it. They're kind of wasted points just because they can't fight very effectively at range. So, there's that. How does this list deal with anti-horde? Like, this list can kill so many. Like, I don't know if I often give lists a 5, but like 5 Terminators with Lightning Claws, 10 Death Company with Chainswords, 9 Sanguinary Guard with Swords, 3 squads of Assault Intercessors. Any squad charges, you're going to be killing tons. However, vehicles is going to be an issue. It's going to be a big issue. The only thing you've got that's going to be any good against vehicles is your characters, and they don't reliably kill vehicles. Like, they reliably do like 4 to 6 wounds against them. The swords from the Sanguinary Guard do 2 damage a pop, so they can do something, but like, I think it needs to be a 3, and I think that's generous. It might even be a 2.5. Your mobility is good. The Terminators can deep strike in. The Sanguinary Guard, the Death Company jumping all over. The Outriders available to pressure. So I think your mobility is good generally. And then specialization. I guess, yes, this list is very specialized, and it's very specialized against killing infantry. And yeah, you're probably right. Like, Highland's saying in the chat that the Ancient and the Judicar are not really worth it. Yeah, I mean, like, the Judicar is obviously going to let you fight first, but you're so mobile, and you're probably going to be able to get the charges off, so you're probably not going to need the Judicar. And then, like, the Ancient, he has been fairly badly nerfed, so maybe taking those points out, splitting your Sanguinary Guard into 2, like, 6-man squads and giving them some Power Fists and Infernal Pistols, that might bring your anti-vehicle up to 3.5, and then there's just something small more you need to do there. So I think specialization, you get a low score as well, because you're too specialized with this list. Like, you'll kill a lot of infantry, but you won't kill much else. So if anyone in the community has a score for Robert on his list, please let me know. And if anyone has a suggestion from the community, I'll write that down as well. The Death Company jump packs at 2 points each instead of 3. Yeah, Battlescribe is notorious for having little mistakes. It usually takes them for a while to get things up to date. Do you have a video where you make predictions before the Codex comes out? What models are going to get redone, etc.? I haven't done a prediction video, and honestly, I don't know if I would. I just don't know if I'm in the know enough, because when the last book came out, what was it called? The Psychic Awakening book, The Blood of Baal. I was hoping for so much more with Mephiston, and he just got 1 attack and he just got 1 wound, right, for going through the Primaris. And I was like, looking at it, like, when I was looking at the book, I was like, oh, this is shit, basically, right? Like, I was hoping for so much more from Mephiston. He's such a powerful character. But then when I actually got to the battlefield and started using Mephiston with that extra wound and those extra attacks, I really was like, wow, okay, Mephiston is no joke on the battlefield. Like, I think I did a video on Mephiston on how, like, you were able to do, like, 24 attacks in a single turn. They've nerfed that now, of course. But you were able to do, like, 24 attacks in a single turn, and each one was D3, and it was, like, wounding on 2s, hitting on 2s. So it's really, sometimes you can look at the changes in the book and think, yeah, that's not that great, and then when you actually play it on the table, you're like, okay, wow, that is a bit different. So a prediction video, while I'd like to do it, Dav, I just don't know if I'm knowledgeable enough to do it. How do I feel like regular intercessors with auto bolt rifles and giving the Sarge a Thunderhammer? I talked about this a little bit earlier, Majestine, but Janstay. I don't know how you say your name. Sorry, Janstay. I'd give the Thunderhammer a Power Fist. I'd give the Thunderhammer a Power Fist. I'd give the Sergeant a Power Fist. I think the Thunderhammer is overcosted. And someone else was talking about auto bolters. The 3 shots at 24 inches is quite nice. I mean, it depends on how you want to use your intercessors. If you're pushing forward with them, then I think it's decent. Sorry, Redblade. Hi, how you doing? What's your question? Did I miss a question from you, Redblade? If there was something, ask me again. Yeah, so Adam agrees we need to get some anti-armour in there to pop some vehicles, and then use your anti-infantry. Gitley has scored this list as well. Nice, Gitley. Thank you so much for sticking around. He likes it, but needs a bit more range threat, but feels it's a solid list. So I guess the suggestion is range / anti-armour is what we think that you need here. A Librarian with Veil of Time might be better than a Judicar. Not sure. And then someone saying they're not sold on the Sanguiner. I haven't actually run the Sanguiner 9th edition. And which is funny because he was always my go-to HQ for going with the Sanguinary Guard in 8th edition. Like I never ran Dante. I always ran the Sanguiner for that +1 attack aura that he had. But I guess that's been changed as well. Will you do a video on Incursors and Infiltrators? Yeah, do you know what? I know a lot of... and Redblade gave you 19 for this list. Alright, so you got a decent enough score. We just think you need some more anti-infantry and anti-armour. And then, do you know what? Adam gave you a 16. So yeah, I think you're getting punished just for the one-dimensionalness of the list. Sorry, Infiltrators and Incursors. That could definitely be a cool video. There's a lot of options we could do. We could definitely talk about them. I'm not sure what Friday's video is going to be. I thought I might look at the Sanguinary Guard because I saw Auspex Tactics just did a video on the Sanguinary Guard saying how brilliant they were, and I'm not sure they are brilliant right now. But maybe it's just the current meta. So maybe I'll do... I was thinking about doing a video on the Sanguinary Guard, but yeah, Incursors v Infiltrators is definitely a cool idea. I will add it to my list for future videos. Thank you for the suggestion. If you guys do have, ideas for future videos, then I'm all for hearing them because I mean ultimately the channel is to give everybody value. So, okay. Yeah, I haven't actually run a company chapter myself, Highland, but it does seem like it's a good option. And I guess Mark, thank you for coming and joining the stream today. I guess your question: Vanguard Vets against Sanguinary Guard. My experience is Sanguinary Guard will always do more damage than the Vanguard Vets. Vanguard Vets are obviously more survivable if you give them Storm Shields. Vanguard Vets do have Melta Bombs, which is really useful against vehicles, but in some ways the -1 to hit the Sanguinary Guard isn't as strong as people might think, because if Sanguinary Guard get in combat with other enemies that have like Power Fists, or this week for example I played against Eldar that had like those Wraith Guard, and they have those axes, right? I'll just get it up. So I'm not talk. I don't know that much about Eldar, but I do know what I played against this week. Yeah, it's not Wraithguard, is it? Is it Wraith Blades? They're very similar names. Yeah, so I played against Eldar that had these Wraith Blades, right? So the guy was running these Ghost Axes, which is so the Eldar, their weapon skill is 3. Ghost Axes +2 strength, so it's strength 7, -3 AP, 3 damage pop. And you'll see in the battle report, every time this guy rolled his damage, he rolled a 3. Like, I don't think he rolled a single 1 for his D3 damage. But, you know, like, if you get attacked by these guys, for example, and they must subtract -1 from the hit roll, then that -1 the Sanguinary Guard get to hit has no effect, right? Because you can't stack minuses to hit. So, people are, like, really happy, like, oh, the Sanguinary Guard, they're so much stronger with a -1 to hit in close combat. Well, sure, as long as you don't get hit by Power Fists or like these Ghost Axes or anything else with -1 to hit, and then there's no difference. So these guys don't get a lot of attacks, right? They only get 2 attacks, but on the charge they get 1 more. So this guy was running a squad of 10 of them, so it's 30 attacks. They're hitting on 4s, and then they're wounding on 2s, and it's -3. So like you're saving on 5s. It was. You'll see in the Elder Battle Report like just how strong these weapons were, and like. This guy was chewing through my Terminators, right? Terminators with Storm Shields, Terminators with Lightning Claws. These weapons are just absolutely destroying Terminators, and Terminators have 3 wounds, so they're tougher than Sanguinary Guard. So if it was the Sanguinary Guard that were in with these guys, they'd just been deleted. Like, they're not, in my opinion, they're great if you get the charge off and you get to hit first, but they're, you know, -1 to hit didn't make them that much more survivable. It barely changed. It barely changed. You know, if when I'm playing in my meta, like I said, the meta I play in is very competitive. Everybody is doing everything they can to win every game. Pretty much when I'm saving with my Sanguinary Guard, there's very rarely a time that I'm saving on better than like a 5 or a 6, because people know how brutal the Sanguinary Guard are, so they get targeted straight away. Even if they make charges and are successful, people will fall back out of combat just to shoot them with all the really big, high, powerful weapons. So, yeah, I was thinking Sanguinary Guard might be good to look at, because maybe we could do some maths and really see if they're good right now. But then, I mean, I guess things might change with the new book. But yeah, it's a tough time to make videos actually, because you know, like it sucks to make a video and then have everything change on you like a week or 2 later. Like it feels like a bit of a waste of time, right? Because you're trying to provide like content to people, and people want to watch videos, and then it's like this video's out of date already. So, excuse me. Normally we do 4 lists, because this has basically been 2 hours. But because I've been getting so many submissions, I already got 3 submissions for next week. We're gonna grab this list by Mr. Morning Sloth, and this will be the last list for today. This is a 1500 point battle, so not normally what I play, but I think I can make a good call on it. So we'll go over this final list, and then maybe I'll show you like a tiny sneak peek of the Elder game that's coming next. And then yeah, like I said, I don't know what Friday's video is yet for tactics next week, but I do like your suggestion, Red Blade. I'll definitely use that in a future video. So, Librarian Dreadnought. I mean, I think every list has started with Librarian Dreadnought today, or maybe there was one with Mephiston, right? And this guy's got a Meltagun, so he's been watching my videos. Meltagun is good on Librarian Dreadnought, I think. Primaris Chaplain. This guy is Mantra Strength, Recantation of Focus. He's been upgraded to the Master of Sanctity. And he's the hero of the chapter, which I guess Battlescribe isn't showing for some reason, and he's the Wise Ardent Orator, so his litanies go off in 2s. I mean, I do like this. And then a Primaris Chapter Master. Oh, interesting. No one sent me a list with a chapter. So I guess it would be a Primaris Captain upgraded to a Chapter Master. Interesting. 130 points. Here's Rites of War, the Burning Blade. So Rites of War is cool, obviously making everything around him OBSEC. The Burning Blade replaces a Power Sword, doesn't it? So hold on, he should have a Power Sword. Heavy Bolt Pistol, Mastercrafted. Oh, so this is basically the Indomitus character. And then he's got where's the Burning Blade? So the Burning Blade is a -4, -5 AP. Basically a power sword with -5 AP. And then he has the Relic Shield as well. Okay, and 145 points. That's right. That's pretty cool. The Chapter Master reroll buff that Dante gets is interesting, you know? So it is quite expensive, though, for 40 points, but it depends on what he's got with him and what he's going to reroll. So let's have a look. So we have 3 Assault Intercessor squads. We've seen that a lot today. Again, it's fine, but again, I mean, just look on any of the other lists that I mentioned. I think you need 1 regular Intercessor squad or an Infiltrator squad, or you're just wasting a lot of points with these guys. I actually don't know how big the battlefield is on a 1500 point game. It's probably the same size as 2K, right? So the same amount of objectives and stuff. Primaris Chapter Master equals Rip Dante. Yeah, it could be a successor chapter. There is some nice options for the successor chapter in the Space Marine Codex. And I guess maybe Blood Angels will get some options in their supplement. I don't know. And then we've got the Vanguard Veterans. Storm Shields and Thunderhammers on the lot and jump packs. That's fine. But again, if you put... I feel like when you're making a squad, you always need... If you can, and you're like making a squad of Death Company or Sanguinary Guard or something, you want some models that are cheap, right? Because you're always going to take wounds on the squad, right? So you want some that you can just throw the wounds onto. So, for example, you put Thunderhammers and Storm Shields onto every guy's. Well, I know because I run the Vanguard Vets that these Thunderhammers are 12 points a model, right? So, like, if you just drop 2 of these Thunderhammers, so 2 of them just have, let's say, chain swords, you've just saved, like, 24 points, right? So you could literally have 1 more chainsword in that squad, and you're actually 1 point better off. And basically now you're just saying these 6 guys, they're just to take the wound. Oh, sorry, these 3 guys that have 6 wounds, you just want to take the wounds on them, right? So like, as the squad dies, your Thunderhammer guys stay alive, like, and you're throwing away 23 point models against 35 point models. It's quite a big chunk of change. Well, you saw on 2 guys, it's 1 additional model. So, you know, like if you think about it this way, if your squad of 5 guys with Thunderhammers took 6 wounds, what have you got left? You've got 2 Thunderhammers left. If this squad takes 6 wounds, then you've got 3 Thunderhammers left. So surely you maybe get a little bit extra on that first attack, but like you're going to lose guys straight away, right? Like you're maybe even going to get shot before you get into combat. You really don't want to be throwing away 35 point models before you get into combat. I mean, it's up to you, but I mean, I guess this is why like when people run a Death Company, they run 10 Death Company Marines and they run a Thunderhammer and a Power Fist, or 3 Thunderhammers seem to be quite popular before with Death Company, and then so 7 chainswords. So you take the wounds and all the chainswords. Maybe you know all this, and I'm just speaking. Maybe I'm overanalyzing, but it's just my opinion. I think I would run that 3 chainswords, 3 Thunderhammers. I think it just makes that squad more survivable, and I mean, especially if that squad then runs into some infantry, the chainswords give you an extra attack anyway, so you actually gain like 5 extra attacks doing that as well. So it just makes that squad a little bit more versatile. And bear in mind, Vanguard veterans can use melta-bombs. So if you want to use melta-bombs, you don't want to have to give up a Thunderhammer's model attack to do the melta-bombs. You just give up a chainsword's model attack to do the melta-bombs, right? Okay, and then for heavy support, we have 9 Hellblasters with the Plasma Incinerators. I think the one weakness of Hellblasters, I guess, is probably they're not super survivable. Sorry, it's 9 plus the Sergeant, so it's a full 10-man plasmas. And you put a plasma pistol on the Sergeant here. I think that's a waste of points. I don't know why you would need a plasma pistol on the Sergeant. These guys should never be in close combat, so you never really need to fire the plasma pistol on the Sergeant, so just have the Plasma Incinerator. The Plasma Incinerator at the moment is rapid fire 1 30-inch, so I mean it's kind of solid. 40 wound potential. The heavies right now are, I think, 30 wound potential, because you get heavy 1. And then the salt cannon, or the salt plasma, sorry, at the moment they are 60 wound potential, because you get salt 3. So it depends on the size of the board, I guess. And it also depends on where you're positioning. I mean, I guess the plasma incinerators are the all-round choice with the rapid fire. But the salt ones can do more damage. But I guess in a small battle like this, it looks like these guys are anti-armor. So maybe you actually want the plasma ones because they have strength 8, whereas the salt ones only have strength 7. So this seems fine. But I do feel like Hellblasters aren't super tanky. There's a lot of points for the unit as well, 330 points. I like running a mid. I guess maybe if you're using the Chapter Master so you can reroll everything and you can higher power everything. But I mean, I feel like this Chapter Master, you want him to be forward. Yeah, I mean, I believe there's a stratagem now where the Primaris can move, and it doesn't count that they've moved, right? Or is that for Bolt Primaris only? Yeah, no, okay. So you could use the rapid fire, and you could take like steady advance. So use the stratagem in your movement phase when Adeptus starters make a normal move until the end of the turn. The unit is considered having remained stationary. So you could pay 2 CP to move those Hellblasters. They're 6 inches, and then still rapid fire at maximum 30. So I mean, I guess that is a decent option. The Chapter Master could be with them for a turn or two. And then the last thing you've got here is you've got 2 Impulsors. So I guess inside the Impulsors, and you've got the Shield Domes on the Impulsors, and the Iron Tail Heavy Stubbers. I haven't run them with the Shield Dome since the Shield Dome got nerfed. But, I mean, it's up to you really, I guess, how you want to run them. The 5+ invulnerable save is okay, but I mean, it might be better taking some sort of, like, what is this list missing, I guess, would be the question. Alright, Mr. Sloth, you're in the chat. So you're thinking of adding some Lightning Claws to the Vanguard Vets. Yeah, that'd be a good option. And take the company's veterans and their bodyguard role with combi weapons instead of Hellblasters to guard your characters. Yeah, you could take veterans with some sort of combi weapons and guard your characters. I feel like Hellblasters, like they haven't been in the meta for a while, and I'm trying to think what changed. I know that the assault version got an extra shot, and I know that the heavy version got 1 extra damage, but I don't think much changed with the regular plasma ones. And they weren't really run ever in 8th edition. Not after 8th edition had been out for a little while at least. So yeah, I mean, it's a big question mark on whether they're worth having, I guess. Maybe if you change like Might of Heroes off and give them Psychic Fortress, and you run these Hellblasters. That's what you could do. You could run the Hellblasters around the Librarian Dreadnought and use the aura to let them reroll 1s from the Librarian, because you can do Wisdom of the Ancient on the Dreadnought, right? And then that would let you reroll all your 1s, and basically you could fire them all on heavy power. So you need something to deal with the Necron tank. Yeah, I guess like Necrons have those funky tanks that only get wounded on 4s, right? Like the transports and stuff. So yeah, maybe this is okay. Let's have a look at scoring. And I think there's been a few really helpful people in the chat today. Sorry, Afro Samurai, I missed your point. Rip Forlong Fury. I do not know if Forlong Fury is gone. I hope it has not. And I guess, Afro, I think one of your lists came in a little bit late, so I'm going to look at yours next week. So how does this list... Oh, Carrie, I'm glad that I helped you. Yeah, I do it all the time. You want cheap units to take wounds on. I mean, when you're talking about the Vanguard Vets, you could even take some Vanguard Vets without Storm Shield, right? Because you choose where the wounds come in, right? So you could take some 19-point Vanguard Vet, or I think it's 21-point Vanguard Vets if they don't have the Storm Shield, right? No, Storm Shield's 4 points. Oh, is this... No, this includes the jump packs? I thought that I thought they were 21. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Storm Shield's supposed to be... Joe, we'll just check in the Codex. Oh. I didn't realise this camera was still on me. Vanguard Vets. 19 points, and then a jump pack is 2, and a Storm Shield is 4. So they're 21 points without... They're 21 points without the Storm Shield, right? So if you get shot by a gun, I don't know, you get shot, your Vanguard Vet squad gets shot by a las cannon, then just be like, right, that 19-point model who can't save will just take the las cannon damage, you know, and like you're just protecting your expensive 35-point Thunderhammer models. I guess you can't make the squads too big, right? Because then you have to worry about stuff like leadership. But you can always throw in somebody. You can always throw in a couple of Vanguard veterans, maybe just with like, I believe you can take a chainsword and a lightning claw, right? Like that would be pretty cheap as well, and that would give you a load of attacks. Because someone was talking about the fact you could take a lightning claw and a chainsword. I'd have to check the wording. Sometimes they leave holes like this that are unintended. Let's have a quick check. Terminators, aggressors, Vanguard veterans. What does it say? Any number of models can replace their bolt pistol with one of the following. One weapon from the melee weapons list, one Storm Shield. So, and then any number can have their chainsword replaced. Yeah, so you could replace their bolt pistol with a melee weapon. So that you could replace their bolt. So you could run one. You could run one with lightning gloves and the chainsword to get +2 attacks. And it's also a very cheap model you could take wounds on. Okay, so Glitly has given you a 19 for your list. Morning. I am going to have a look. Objective holding. I mean, you can hold objectives fine. I guess there's less things in a 1500-point game. But again, I love Assault Intercessors. I would run 3 squads if I can. I just don't think you can. And I think, personally, I even have a problem with that. Like, I always put Assault Intercessor squads in. I think the list that I'm planning to do tomorrow, I'm going to have 1 Assault Intercessor squad and 2 Infiltrator squads. And Infiltrators do okay in close combat if you charge, and they just zone the enemies so effectively. It doesn't make a lot of sense for Blood Angels, and it doesn't feel the greatest, right? Like, the Assault Intercessors just feel that much more Blood Angels, and they feel that much better, but I think the advantage those Infiltrators give you is just phenomenal. So I think we're going to go with 3.5. How are we going to do against hordes? I was going to say decent. I mean, your Assault Intercessors will chop down hordes. Vanguard Veterans aren't really armed to take out hordes. Your Hellblasters could take out hordes, but it doesn't feel like the best use of them. The Impulsors will do something, but nothing amazing. And your characters aren't really designed to take out hordes either. So let's say 3.5. Vehicles. You know, the Hellblasters can definitely do that. We talked about a few ways they can do that with the stratagems. The Vanguard Veterans can do that as well. We also talked about how they can use the Melta Bombs. I guess your Librarian Dreadnought can definitely kill vehicles. And yeah, I mean, I think because it's a 1500-point game, I'd probably give that a 4. Mobility-wise, the 2 Impulsors give you a lot of mobility in that you can have Assault Intercessor squads in there. So I think mobility-wise, I think you probably get a 4. The only thing that's not really mobile, I guess, are your characters and the Hellblasters. So, yeah, like, I think 4. I might have been persuaded to go 4.5 there. If there was, like, maybe if one impulsor has been swapped out for like a Death Company with jump packs, because a Death Company with jump packs, 5 of them and a Power Fist is 135 points, I believe, because it's 25 points per model. So if you found 5 points in this list and you swapped out one of these impulsors for a Death Company, then your Death Company would be able to do... That would increase your anti-infantry, of course, because the Death Company are great with their chainswords. And if you do give them a Power Fist, then you get like 5 attacks with a Power Fist. You can protect that Power Fist guy like we talked about before by taking the wounds on the cheaper chainsword guys. So, I mean, I guess like my suggestion here probably is like a Death Company for 125 points. And then specialization, like I guess like it doesn't feel like you've overly specialized. I mean, I guess the one issue is that you've got nothing to sit on a backfield objective that's going to be useful. So I kind of want to say like 3.54. The other guys are saying in the chat you've got 19.5, you've got a 19. I guess we'll go with a 4 just because again it's 1500 points. So I think that's what we'll do, and we'll say that it was 19. Gitley says, I think this is a good one. I struggle with a lower point cost list. Yeah, I'd say around 19 out of 25. Maybe too much invested in heroes and transports at lower point cost. Yeah, I think that's probably why I said I would swap out the Impulsor for a Death Company. You could probably swap out one of the characters that you have in there as well. If the Chapter Master is... Yeah, because Recantation of Focus is the one where you're buffing your chance to hit, right? So you're buffing ranged weapons by 1. I don't think you need that if you have the rerolls from the Chapter Master. I assume you want the Chapter Master to make your Hellblasters reroll their hits, right? So there's a website called AnyDice, and I love it. And it lets you work out percentage chances, right? So if you talk about your Hellblasters, right? So they roll a d6, right? We know that they hit on 3 pluses, so you reroll 1s and 2s. And we roll on the reroll. We roll a d6 again. So you can copy this formula straight out of here if you need it. If you're in the Facebook group, I can give you this formula. It was pretty easy to set up. So if we hit calculate there, you can basically see if you give your Chapter Master rerolls to a unit that hits on 3s, you add these percentage, because it's like 3, 4, 5, 6. So you add 22.2 together 4 times, and you have an 88% chance to hit, right? So if your Chaplain with his Litany, who's quite expensive at 120 points, you're basically wanting to add 1 to their hits, right? So that they re-roll everything except once, because they're hitting on 2 pluses. So if you calculate that, now it's 19.44 times 5. So I guess you have to decide, it's only 8% better. So like 120 points to make their shooting 8% better. Is that the best use of your points? I mean, like, you'll see, like, when I'm playing the game, I'm quite often talking to myself. I think it's because I talk to myself a lot on the stream. Like, I think people think I'm mad now. You just get into the habit of talking, and there's no one else, right? You're just talking. But, like, if I'm doing maths in the middle of the game, you'll see it during the Eldar game. I'm like, like 33% chance on this roll. And the other guys make fun of me, right? Because they're like, oh, he's math hammering again. And it's like, well, I want to win the game, right? So I want to make well-informed decisions about my rolls, and if your Chaplain is just there to give those Hellblasters +1 to hit, then it's 120 points just to get an 8% more chance to hit. To me, it feels like that. Like someone else said, 120 points is actually the cost of like a Ball Predator with an assault cannon on it. If we're talking about like small skirmish 1500 point games, it's not an assault cannon. It's a twin assault cannon. Then you could have a Ball Predator for that Chaplain, and he could be. You said you're fighting Necron as well. You could be, we are all mad here. You could be using the assault cannon to like mow down squads of Necron warriors every turn. What do they only save on an assault cannon against like 5 pluses, right? Because they're 4 pluses normally. So yeah, I guess that's what I would say. So that is pretty much the end of today's stream. We're a little bit over, I guess, like 2 hours 20 minutes. Try and keep these to about 2 hours. But I guess if we're doing a 5th bonus list today, we're a little bit over. if any of you guys want to continue the conversation, or you're not, as I said, the Facebook group is now up. You should be able to find, if we go to the channel, like, we're going to go for a bit of Inception here where we watch ourselves. We'll just pause it. There's a link here to the Facebook group. I think that will take you straight in. And I think it will automatically let you join. So if you want to join the Facebook group and have any more questions, that's great. And if we are on the channel and you want to submit an army list, because a lot of people ask about that every week, you go over into the community page on the channel, and this week I will put up a post here asking for army list submissions. I am a little bit backlogged on the army list submissions. I do want to get to everybody's, but I can only do so many. Yeah, I'm glad that helps you out a little bit, Morning. And yeah, no, Gitley, I'm really glad that you joined us for the stream, and I'm really glad that all you regulars joined as well. I see you guys every week. It's really nice to have some fans that are here every week and we can talk about this. So real quick before I jump off then, let me see if I can give you... I like to try and give like a little preview of what we're working on. This week. So yeah, so basically my plan is to put a post here, and then if you're viewing on the website, I think you have to come over to the community tab, but if you're viewing on your phone, if you watch YouTube on your phone, I think community posts just come up straight in your feed, like when you're scrolling through your feed and you see all your videos. So you should see a post from me asking for people to submit army lists. If I wasn't so backlogged, I would have done one for this week, but it seemed a bit backwards to be like, hey, submit your lists. By the way, I'm not going to look at them today because I'm already backlogged. Yeah, so let me see if I can show you two little previews then. So this is the list that I'm working. This is the Eldar that I'm fighting this week. So you'll be able to see this battle report. Like I've got the full battle. It's about 3 hours long, but I've got the full battle, so you can see how everything did. So this is the list that the Eldar player ran, and then this is the list that I ran. So if I run through it real quick, we have the Librarian Dreadnought, we have Dante, we have a Sanguinary Ancient, we have a Sanguinary Priest, we have the 5-man Death Company with 1 Power Fist, rest with chainswords, we have the Infiltrator Squad, we have a small Sanguinary Guard, which has 2 axes, 2 fists, an Infernal Pistol, 2 Assault Intercessor Squads. This is 1 squad of 8 Terminators, 4 Thunderhammers, 4 Lightning Claws. We have a Contemptor Dreadnought. It was just a regular Contemptor with the twin multi-melta and the claw, and then we have the Storm Raven with twin multi-melta, twin Hurricane Bolter, 2 Storm Strike missile launchers, and then twin heavy plasma cannon. So this is the army. This is the battle report that I'm working on this week. So hopefully that'll be out probably like Tuesday or Wednesday night, and when I do put army battle reports out, they are longer videos, but I put them up as an instant premiere. So what that means is like the video, it's kind of like a live stream, right? Like we all watch it together and we're all at the same time, and you can all be in the chat for that video. And I try and get the person that I'm playing with to be in the chat as well. So if you guys have any questions about Blood Angels or about what I'm playing against and questions about the rules, we can clarify them as well. So that is just about it for this week, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, then I would appreciate if you do subscribe. I try and put out a lot every week, and I will definitely make a post this week asking for army lists. Sorry I didn't do it this week. Just I didn't want to trick people or something. I don't know. It just seemed strange, and hopefully if I can clear this backlog, then we'll get to a point where every week we ask for army lists. And I think in the next couple of weeks we're going to get some previews of the Blood Angel stuff, and then the second that the Blood Angels book is out or I get some leaks from it, I'll set up a live stream and we'll talk over that, and hopefully you guys will be able to ask questions. And I guess as the new Forge World book is coming out tomorrow, if anyone has any questions about any of the point costs or any of the Forge World units, if they want to get their stat profiles together. I don't have the book yet, but I am playing a friend who's getting his book tomorrow. So I can get you a screenshot, or I can get you pictures of that, and we can put them into the Facebook group. So if anyone wants to see any stats for that, we'll do that. Alright, that is great. So I hope you guys all have a great weekend, and I'll set up the schedule for the army battle as soon as I can, so you'll be able to know in advance when it's coming, and it will be a premiere, so you guys can jump in and chat during the battle report if you want to. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in. By the blood are we made. Peace.